Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach 2023 previews and preseason discussions. In this one, we're gonna be diving into the center wing debate. It's one of the trickier positions I always find. I feel like people can do well if they go a bit more heavy in the center wing, because there's definitely clear-cut better options, but at the end of the day, the center wing is very luck based. It's one of the areas that, you know, it's not gonna, if a couple of your cheapies don't pay off and they only get like 20s and stuff for a couple of weeks, it's not gonna ruin your season. But it is nice to get lucky. It is nice to pick up a couple of guys that aren't quite that expensive, and then all of a sudden they score a couple of tries in the first month, and you know, their price shoots up, and you're able to upgrade nice and quickly. It's a nice little gamble. But yeah, my strategy for the most part has been basically go pretty much three. Well, you know, your three reserves always cheapies, bottom dollar if you can swing it, but try to pick players, and especially this year with the two buys, you definitely want, you don't really want any players not playing, so you want to have them confirmed starters. And there's a couple of cheapies that they might be starting, but they might also be a bit of a risk because of, you know, when guys come back from injury, they might lose their spot. And you don't really want players not playing this year, because you might find yourself in a bit of trouble if you double up or triple up on a couple of teams and they're on the bye. But yeah, we'll get into it and see the good options at the expensive and the cheaper price. So I just briefly paused. It's not going to be a big pause in the video, but it'll seem a bit out of place. But actually, I was curious to see what I did, because I can't remember honestly what I did for the round 1 2022 Supercoach, and I had a quick look at the backline, and we were pretty blessed. I actually went with one expensive guy, but he wasn't too bad. I went with Jack Bird at 480k. I remember Ewan Aiken was about 450, around that price. There were a couple other guys that were potentially playing in the second row that were a decent price. And then I was able to get Penasini was like 240, and Isaac Tungo was like 280. And I had like basically other cheapies. I had Suoli'i in the team from the get-go, because I sort of expected him to get into the team, and he didn't leave my team for the rest of it, I think, unless I trade him later. But yeah, I feel like last year we were probably a bit more blessed with the cheapies, that you sort of, I don't know, they were a bit more locked in. Like, I don't know, I felt really good about Penasini. Obviously Tungo was gonna score well. He was a lock-in. And then, yeah, like I said, there were a couple more forwards like Furmore, Aiken, Jack Bird, like I said. I think there was another one as well in the forwards. But yeah, they were quite the options. But let's go through this year, because yeah, they've lost a lot of their duels this year. So Joey Manu tops us off here at 801k. You know, don't get me wrong, Joey Manu, he would be a luxury pickup. I've always thought about that. I mean, I got him last year at the perfect time. He absolutely killed it for me. Yeah, he was unbelievable. But I don't know. Starting with him at 800,000 is just such a luxury pickup. I don't know how anyone could afford to have Joey Manu from the start. And I mean, he's going to score well. Like, don't get me wrong, he's going to score well. But they have so many attacking options now, and I just feel with Brandon Smith now, their main dummy half, I think there's going to be a lot more attacking through the middle. You know, Kiri, Tedesco, Smith just absolutely getting over the advantage line. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Joey Manu loves a dummy half run, but there's so many of them that do. There's so many of the Roosters boys that love getting in off a quick play the ball. So I think the points are going to be a bit more spread out this year for the Roosters. And Joey Manu, I have no doubt he's going to drop a fair bit of cash. And, you know, he could be a really good option to pick up a bit later. around that Origin time. He's not going to play Origin. Few Roosters players missing. He might go to fullback again. So, yeah, I'd be more looking at him later, at a later date. Ruben Garrick, we talked a fair bit about him in the fullback discussion. I think he's very similar to Manu, a luxury pickup, and I don't know what's better for him. If he's playing fullback or if he's playing on the wing with Trbojevic in the team. Probably on the wing, because he still makes plenty of runs on the wing, and he's just more likely for a few more tries and more goals to kick. So I think it'd be nicer if Tommy was there, but I do expect Garrick to lose a bit of value as well. Unless, like I said at the start, it's a lot of luck in the centre wing. Obviously, they just standouts like Joey Manu, Valentine Holmes, the guy I was just going to talk about there. Holmes, the Cowboys have a great run. He is one guy that, I would love to fit in as that one premium option, but 700k for a centre wing, it's a lot. It's a lot. And he could average as much as any of the fullbacks or any of the halves that I'm going big in, but I don't know, it just seems a lot for a centre wing when, like I was just about to say, the luck. You could pick up a guy like an Alamotti, a Tommy Talau, Tyrell Sloan. They have the buy in round 1, but there's so many other cheaper options that if they just get a try, they're gonna score well. So I do feel like you can take a bit of a punt. Alex Johnston, I don't think I've ever had Johnston in my team the whole of Supercoach, and that's probably one of the reasons why I've never been pushing for top 10, because I don't know, man. I've always felt like there's gonna be the decline of Johnston. He's got to stop scoring tries, but it just never happens. He just keeps scoring. And on the back of Cody Walker and Latrell Mitchell, I can see Johnston staying around that price, honestly. He's definitely going to have some small scores. If he doesn't score tries, he's going to score poorly. But then he'll come out, get 2-3 tries and 100 plus, and his average will go straight back up. So Johnston, I just don't like the roller coaster, so I just don't go him, but he's definitely not bad. Taylor May, Campbell Graham, Nick Meaney. Honestly, I don't have really any real desire for any of these guys. Obviously, Taylor May was he the cheapie of the year last year? Probably. He was very, very good. I think is he out for a couple of weeks anyway? I think he's missing the opening of the season regardless, but even if he started, I don't know. The fact Kikau's not there, now the Panthers still could dominate down that left-hand side, but I've said this plenty of times. Kikau created so many of those half chances or no chances into tries just with his destructiveness, his ball playing ability, and I just don't think they're going to have the same level down that side. I feel like they might actually go right more often this year, but we'll see. But I definitely wouldn't be picking up Taylor May to start the year. Campbell Graham, likewise. Campbell Graham is a solid center, plenty of base stats, tackles, runs, but if you're going to go a premium center wing, you're not going to go Campbell Graham. You'd go a Val Holmes, or even pushing it up to if you wanted to go crazy, a Joey Manu. But yeah, Campbell Graham, no. And then they're also with the increase, they're expensive, dude. Ronaldo, I could see Ronaldo as well being sort of that Val Holmes upside player for a little bit less, or quite a bit less. Obviously, no goal kicking, which isn't great. Who do they play? They play the Rabbitohs. So yeah, I don't know. The round 1's always weird. You can't really get a grasp on how the season's going to play out after round 1. It's always a bit. Even some of the better teams can sometimes start a bit scrappy in round 1, so I wouldn't really take too much of the draw into round 1, honestly. I wouldn't really factor it in. Talakai, not going anywhere near Talakai. He was a great pickup last year when he was fairly cheap. You could pick him up in second row or centre wing. It doesn't really matter that he's only centre wing this year, because you wouldn't pick him up in the forwards regardless. But at 635, I don't see him making money on that. Zach Lomax, if he was a bit cheaper, Zach Lomax could be a handy pickup, but again, just a bit too much. out of all these, out of the rest of these premium, I do like Daniel Tupou and I do like To'o. I probably like Tupou a little bit more. I actually thought Tupou was going to be a little bit more expensive. He obviously finished the year a little bit slowly, because he was killing it for a good while there. He was scoring tries basically every week. And again, in that Roosters team, like, it's just, there's going to be points deluxe. And I mean, one of the outside backs is probably going to get, they're not going to get the tries, but I think Tupou is in for a nice time. Who are they playing? Yeah, the Dolphins. Projected to score 64. Historically, he scores well against them. Okay. Apparently he goes pretty well against the Dolphins, with all the data. That's pretty funny. I don't know why why do they add that? Like, a lot of the players don't have any sort of tidbit, but for some reason they added one for the Dolphins. Dolphins haven't even played a game. But I do like Tupou. Probably, yeah, I don't know. I prefer a Tupou over a To'o. I don't know. I think a lot of people are going To'o because he's underpriced for what he was at his prime. But again, I guess the funny thing is that if they do go right more, To'o probably does see a little bit more footy outside of Crichton. But I guess the other thing about it is if Taylor May is out for the first couple of weeks, To'o probably starts on the left side regardless. I don't think it matters that much. To'o, he's going to score tries. He's got the work rate, so I don't hate it. Honestly, out of the premiums, I do like To'o. I do like Tupou just a little bit more, though. Getting down here, Lockie Miller. So Miller he's in my team at the moment. I'm not sold, but I do like it. Like a fullback that has, and this is he's only had a brief stint in the NRL, so we can only go off the couple of games, but he's a runner. He's a ball runner. He's going to take 20 runs a game. He loves the work. He's a sharp, fleet-footed fullback, so he's going to make tackle breaks. He's going to make plenty of runs. So his base is just really solid, and that's what I like in a if I'm going a premium centre wing. That's why I like Tupou. That's why I like To'o, and also Val Holmes is if I was going a bit more expensive. Holmes has pretty good base stats as well with really good upside with the goal kicking and just try scoring ability. But Lockie Miller has that upside. Well, maybe he maybe has. Yeah, I think they will. I don't know. I just feel like the Knights are going to click early with Ponga, Hastings, and Miller at the back. I don't know. Call me crazy. I actually feel like the Ponga experiment this time is going to work a bit better. I think it's going to work a lot better than last time. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to work better. And I think Miller could be a really good pickup at 600k. It's not too bad. Herbie Farnworth, I love a lot. I wish he wasn't quite as expensive, because I'd love to have Herbie in the team. There'd be no Origin to worry about. Like a couple of players, obviously Miller as well wouldn't have to worry about Origin. But Herbie, oh man, he is the dominant outside back for the Bronx. I mean, the Broncos started going bad. They, not just because Herbie Farnworth was out injured, but I think it definitely contributed. Like, Farnworth was just incredible to start the year. He was fantastic in the World Cup, so, that's great news for the Broncos. He came back really strong after the injury. It was disappointing that he couldn't come back before the end of the season, but he should be starting the season strong. So I expect Farnworth to be I expect him to get much higher than 600, but yeah, just a center. It's always a little bit like, again, I probably prefer a winger over a center, because they just have more ability for the tries and probably a little bit more base stats in terms of runs. Obviously less tackles, but they're going to be rucking the ball out from their own end a bit more than a centre does. So, yeah, I do like Farnworth, though. I do like him. Edric Lee is 600k. When the hell did he play? How's he 600,000? That's crazy. Joey Sawali. I saw his price when I skimmed through as well, and I was like, you know what? Sawali, he's tempting as well. Like, the kid's a freak, but again, the issue is that the Roosters just have so many attacking weapons. It's like every game, like, they could put on points, but there's going to be one edge that misses out, and I feel like at times, like, Tupou, I mean, when I think about it, I'd probably rather go Suoli'i over Tupou. Maybe. Actually, it's a tough one. They're pretty similar. What's he, 590, Tupou? Yeah, they're pretty much the same. I don't know. I'd probably rather go Suoli'i, honestly. He's got a bit more than Tupou. Tupou, you know, great carries from his own end, but Suoli'i has shown that as well, the tackle breaking. And then he's just got that freakish ability that I think Tupou doesn't quite have. He's great in the air, he's a great finisher, but I don't think Tupou, he's not really one of those guys that's going to break into the open from his own end and brush off a couple of tacklers, really. Not nowadays, anyway. Anyone else of note? So Jack Bird, funnily enough, keeps the centre wing second row forward, which is very strange. Did he play? He might have played centre a few times last year, but it's weird that they kept his centre wing second row. He's a little bit too expensive. I know I started him last year. He was like 100k cheaper, so he did okay, but nah, I'm not too keen there. Anyone else of note? All these other guys, you know, they're okay, but again, they're just, you know, they're in that middling range of being a little bit too expensive to really go with for the output. I mean, Addo-Carr, maybe, but yeah, nah, Addo-Carr's never really been relevant. Like, he obviously goes on a couple of weeks runs where he scores a ton, but even at the Storm, where he was scoring way more tries, he you know, occasionally shot up to like 600,000, but he dropped down pretty quickly. Anyone else? Katoni Staggs. Is Katoni gonna hit back this year? I actually feel like Katoni is gonna have a bounce back season, but again, 500k, it's just a little bit too expensive for the gamble on Katoni. Continuing to go down. Anyone else of note? Sad news about Cody Ramsey. I won't go too much into it, but unfortunately I saw that he has been ruled out for the entire season, which does open one other player for the Dragons, but yeah, disappointing for poor old Cody Ramsey there. You know, Xavier Coates, he never really got too out of control, but coming back into that Storm side, you know, you could take a punt on him, because the Storm do start well. They are a team that does start really well. So Xavier Coates could take a punt, but again, he's at that awkward price, very awkward price, with some of the guys that are going to be coming up for a lot less. Nick Kotrick, man, what a fall from grace for Kotrick. He was okay back at the Raiders, but man, I don't know, he's lost so much since going to the Dogs. And then coming back, like, man, oh man. Maybe he regains that form this year, potentially. But, yeah, I don't think I could go him. Although he's cheap. He is cheap. Okay, we're starting to get down to some potential nice ones. So Ozako, I've actually switched to Ozako. He's not in my team anymore, but I mean, if Ozako, I was gonna say if he snags a fullback spot, but I think it was confirmed on Twitter. Wayne Bennett said that Fido is going to be the fullback. So Ozako on the wing, I don't hate it. Still 380k. He'll be goal kicking. I would expect him to get a wing spot. I mean, maybe not. Like, they do have options, but I probably wouldn't go there, but I don't know. I think you could do worse. I think he's not a bad shout to start. Charlie Staines, a lot of people are keen on Staines. I still think he's absolute dog shit. Like, I don't know why everyone is so keen on Staines. Like, obviously there's talk that he's going to play fullback, which I think is ridiculous. I think Dane Laurie is substantially better than Charlie Staines. I've seen a few people talk like when Staines went to fullback, wow, he was impressive. And I'm just like, what? What were you watching? Like, I don't understand. But if he does get that fullback spot, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go him. I don't know. Maybe see what he does in the trials. I just really haven't been impressed with him at all. I don't know what the hype is around him. People trying to talk him up. He is a cheap option. Playing fullback, it is nice, but I just think there's better. I just think there's better options. Hayes Perham, for one, I think is a better option, and it seems like he's going to get the fullback spot at the Dogs, and I think the Dogs. I don't know. Are the Dogs going to be a better attacking team than the Tigers this year? Maybe. I do think the Dogs probably have a better spine than the Tigers. So I don't know, Hayes Perham. And also Perham is definitely a harder worker than Staines at the back. Like he takes more carries than Staines. So he's got that going for him. I'd definitely consider Hayes Perham if he does. But Perham would be dangerous because the Dogs, I mean, you know, let's be real. Perham is not going to be their long-term fullback. I mean, obviously they've signed Stephen Crichton for next year, so Perham is not the long-term option. So as soon as they don't start winning, like Averillo could find himself back there in a couple of weeks, and Perham's going to be a bit of a, you know, a tough one to get rid of. So yeah, it is a precarious spot for Hayes Perham, I would say. Going down, so yeah, I've got Isaac Thompson in the team. Again, I talked about him when I did my team reveal. He would be just an absolute. He'd be a shoo-in if he was guaranteed that wing spot. He's got the work rate, he's got the tackle breaking, and a Rabbitohs winger at 300k. Absolutely, yes, please. That is perfect. You couldn't ask for more. But unfortunately, Tane Milne is back in a couple of weeks after round one. He's out for a couple of games. I don't remember how long, but does Thompson lose a spot to Tane Milne? I'm probably gonna take the punt on Thompson because I think he's good enough that hopefully he plays well in the first couple of games, and they just, you know, they can't drop him for Tane Milne. Hopefully they just, I don't know, chuck Milne on the bench or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think I'm going to roll the dice on Thompson. I just feel like it's just too nice to not start him in that Rabbitohs backline. Yeah, it's hard not to. We go down. Fido, like I said, has been confirmed to play fullback. I got to be honest, I don't think I'm going to touch Fido. Even though I actually think the Dolphins are going to go pretty okay this year, I'm calling it out. I don't think Fido's ever going to really be Supercoach relevant. Now, again, he's only 330k, so, you know, plays fullback. He goes okay. He'll probably increase in value a bit, but I just don't really see the upside because he's not going to be a fullback that takes 20 runs a game. He's going to be a guy sniffing around the ruck for sure, and he's going to have these moments of brilliance where he races the length of the field and scores a try. But I don't know, I just can't see him going huge when he does score. And I think his low scores are going to be pretty low for a fullback. So I can understand people wanting to go Fido for the price. And, you know, if other options don't go the way I think they will, or how I hope they will, maybe Fido does come into the team as a bit of a smoky, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling Fido at fullback. Chansey, on the other hand, CNK, he's a definite in the team. I don't think he's going to leave. I'm pretty sure he's confirmed playing fullback. You know, he was a revelation there in the centre wing at the Raiders when he burst on. He was averaging like 60 plus for a good while there at the start of the year. Pretty much the middle of the year, and then he sort of dropped off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's got the work rate. He's got some good upside. I don't think he's going to get back to like a 60 average, but, you know, 50 points with upside. Yeah, I like Clockstad a lot. Remus Smith I see is a bit popular. I don't know. I mean, I obviously a Storm backline player being 300k is very tempting, but I don't know. He's never really. I do like Smith in the NRL sense, but I don't know. He's never really shown too much Supercoach wise to really warrant it. I feel like the Storm, their centers, like even Olam is a monster, but he's never really been that Supercoach relevant. It's more their wingers that score all the points. So I don't know. The centers have never really got my fancy. Tommy Talau, another one of those cheaper center wings. He's in my team for now, but yeah, he could easily change to someone else. Tyrell Sloan is one of the guys I brought in because I would expect him to keep that fullback spot now. And I mean, there's a lot of potential here for Sloan. And at just under 300k, he's just got more upside than I think Fido and who else was I talking about? Charlie Staines as well, and even Parham to an extent, just with the security. But you know, Griffin may not agree. He could get dropped at any time. Any other options? I mean, Jared Croker, man, what a fall from grace. He was he was arguably the best Supercoach centre wing player for a long time there. But you know, I don't, like I said in the Raiders discussion, I don't see Croker getting back into the team anytime soon. And then any other real cheap options? I mean, Dean Mariner is an absolute star of the future, but I don't see him getting too much games at the Bronx. Robert Jennings, you know, potentially if he gets a wing spot, like he showed at the Rabbitohs, he's a try scorer, but yeah, I wouldn't be touching him. Hayes Dunster, so he's one of the nice cheapies that it seems like it's out of him and Russell, I guess, but it seems like Dunster's going to get the spot while Wanga Blake is out injured, so he's a bit of a slam dunk at the moment. And then who else? Is Max Fenai potentially getting a spot? Is it him or the other brother Fenai that were the stars? I mean, they were both really good when they played. I think it was the other brother that like really shone, but I don't know. They both, I think Max as well, he played a couple of games. Did he play any games? I don't know, man. I felt like they both played at one point. Tremaine Spry, it's great to see him back, but whether he gets a spot or not, probably not. And then the real cheapies, obviously, comes down to who gets the spot. Paul Alamotti does seem like he's going to get that spot. I don't know, the way Gus was talking that Kikau has found another youngster outside back, it seemed like he was hinting at Alamotti. So I don't know. I feel like he's a better option than like a Braden Burns. So I'd be a bit shocked if they pick a Braden Burns over Alamotti, unless Alamotti was injured at the end of last year, so maybe he doesn't quite get up. I mean, Gerald Skelton as well looks like a real player, but he probably doesn't find his way in. Tawari for the Dolphins. I mean, I've seen some of his action in Queensland Cup and he looks so good, but I don't know if he fits into the Dolphins team, unfortunately. I would love to see it because I think he's got a lot of potential, but we'll see. I think Bennett wants to start with a more experienced team at the get-go, but you never know. If he starts well, I mean, Wayne Bennett is definitely not opposed to throwing in a rookie with he's going to know if he's got the goods or not. The young fella here for the Titans, Khan Pereira, looks like he's got that wing spot as well, so we'll see if he's going to retire, because Brian Kelly is out for a bit, so he's a bit of a tough one as well. Jack Howarth as well for the Storm. Does he get any game time? But that's pretty much it. So there's a lot of not quite mid-range, but just below a mid-range center wing fullback options that are pretty viable, but all of them have a little bit of downside. I probably like Tyrell Sloan the most, which sounds weird because Griffin has shown that he drops players very quickly, but I don't know, I just feel like Sloan is going to come back this year and play well. Obviously the bye in the first week, but it's not that big a deal. Tommy Talea, maybe, but then Chanzi is the knockdown. I think he's the really safe option. I think Fido, I'm not keen on. Hayes Perham, I'm a little worried about the job security. Charlie Staines, I'm just not a fan, so I don't know. Maybe we'll switch, but yeah. And then the more expensive options, I'd probably lean towards Joseph Suali'i. Lockie Miller at the moment, I think, is also good. Or, I mean, Tupou. You go Tupou or Joseph Suali'i. I'd probably lean towards Suali'i, though. I don't know. I think he'll probably be a pretty big pod, if I'm being honest. I haven't seen the the percentages. But yeah, and also To'o. I mean, To'o is going to be very safe. Like, he's got the work rate as well in a good back line. And then probably Val Holmes as the more expensive option, just with the draw, the goal kicking, the Cowboys looking pretty slick. So yeah, I like. There's quite a bit of options in the center wing. I'm gonna be switching so many times before round one. But hopefully, you guys are enjoying the Supercoach content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.